Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the best television show not on television, the best division in football, Awthentik and The Beard, version of the parlay, the Final Four. We are down to the last four teams. We are an afternoon away to finally finding out who will be playing in the Super Bowl. We have a ton of awesome over and under bets to go over today with you, the lovely people in the chat. And hopefully we can win some money between us, between you. One big family of hopefully parlay winners. Without further ado, I'm going to bring in the newest member of the, the second to newest member of the NFC East couch while we watch from home. The man, the myth, the legend, the host of the greatest television show that's not on television outside of Awthentik and The Beard together, Mr. Awthentik himself.
What's cracking, man? I like the intro. I like the intro, bro.
Yeah, you know, I got some good feelings today. I feel like I put together some good DraftKings lineups, so we'll see. You know, got my eye on the Elijah Mitchell injury. That's one of the biggest things I'm kind of watching right now. We should get some information on his availability for the game, hopefully before we get off of air, if not close to it. So that's something I definitely got my eye on. Obviously, everybody's got their eyes on a foot outside of Rex Ryan for once, and that is Patrick Mahomes. We are keeping an eye on that ankle injury. That's just going to be, I think that's going to be the biggest story. It's either going to be, it could take two plays and it could just be go downhill and you'll see Chad Henne, or he could be fine for most of the game and then come out. I mean, we'll just see how things progress throughout that game. But I'm super excited, man. I love football. I don't know how many times I have to tell everybody in the chat, but I love football. And I feel like this is going to be a great day of football.
You like the lineup? You think that this warm-up game, I guess, with the Eagles San Francisco, is that properly placed, or would you rather saw that one be the night game?
Maybe if I knew like Mahomes was hurt, yeah, I think I'd probably put I don't know. The Eagles and the 49ers is probably going to be like a slugfest. So I think for entertainment purposes, you know, they probably like the Chiefs and Bengals last. But you know me, I love a good bruiser battle football. You know what I'm saying?
I think they got it right, man. The more high-powered game should be tonight. If everything goes well and as predicted, you know, this should be a great offensive matchup, man, between two of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And a lot of people are saying that this championship round is looking a little bit better than what the Super Bowl could look like, because, you know, you got options of Chiefs versus 49ers or Chiefs versus Eagles, which I think would make for the best matchup, the Chiefs versus the Eagles. To me, they were the two front-runner best teams in the league all year long. But also you could have the Bengals go up against the Niners, which to me could be kind of boring, or Bengals versus Eagles, which I wouldn't mind either.
See, I think that no matter what the matchup is, I think the Super Bowl is good. Like I mean, I think
look at that 49ers matchup last week against Dallas. If that was the Super Bowl, I'm going to be a little let down, you know? Unless it's my Giants in it, I'll take, 17-14 New York Giants all day long. But
that was like Rams. Was it Rams Chiefs Super Bowl?
I can't even remember for real.
I think it was the Rams. Yeah, the Rams Chiefs Super Bowl when it was like, it wasn't that Super Bowl like 16, or was it Rams Patriots? I can't remember, but it was like the Rams
handled the Rams in the Super Bowl.
It was the Rams Super Bowl that they won, I believe. Where the final score was like 16-13.
Oh yeah, you talking about the last one? The last one, yeah.
That was
the Joan with Matt Stafford.
That was last year's Super Bowl. Was 16-13? No.
I don't think the score was 16-13.
Maybe I'm thinking about Tampa Bay, Kansas City.
Yeah, that's you all over the place, but
that's the Super Bowl.
Because the Rams were last year, and it was a quiet game, and then Odell Beckham went out. Remember, Odell Beckham scored the first touchdown. He went out, but then Cooper Kupp had that incredible last couple drives with Matthew Stafford. But for me, San Francisco just presents a matchup that can be a type of, kind of a boring game. I'd rather see high-flying, high-powered offenses. When you look at the San Francisco 49ers victory last week, what's the play that stands out? It's the George Kittle catch, and that's really it. Like, I don't want a Super Bowl to go down like that. I think that'll be a little interesting, but do think they got the matchups right here. I think the Eagles-49ers game could be a good one. I think it could be a good one.
It was 10-3 Rams-Patriots Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's the one where Jared Goff lost. Yeah.
That's not a fun Super Bowl. Although I will tell you, somebody probably won a lot of money on Super Bowl squares with a score that was that low and consistent throughout most of the game. So,
oh yeah.
But big shout out to everybody who is tuned in right now across all of the platforms. That's Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and of course, right here, home of Awthentik and The Beard on the YouTubes. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up while you guys are here. Don't forget to tell a friend that we are officially giving unsponsored and non-professional financial advice here on Awthentik and The Beard as we talk some overs and unders. This is a great, awesome way to get interactive in the chat too. It's been a lot of fun as we have gone over these throughout the playoffs. I did put together a couple of interesting same game parlays this morning. I went to the store and I was like, you know what? Let me just throw a couple of darts against the wall. So we'll see what sticks and see if I hit anything. It should be a lot of fun to kind of accompany me as I watch the game. But big shout out to everybody in the building. Simon Coleman is in the building with his now patented entry phrase here at Awthentik and The Beard, which we have coined and I've seen all over the worlds of football and the internet.
I won't take credit for coining it. I saw it before we started.
We didn't necessarily coin it, okay? But we took that dirty coin off of the ground and we shined it up. And we put it back into circulation for the world to use.
I would say we were a crutch for the coin. That's what I would say.
Big shout out to speaking of coins, Danny Dime Season says LFG Niners and Bengals. Big shout out.
Speaking on that RTDB, the PTDB, that really lasted a week and it's out of here now. It's kind of crazy.
Okay. All right. So now that we're talking about things lasting a week, and have you seen this viral, I guess you could call it rap song, these two guys, and like the 90% of the song is like, shh, 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 shh,
no.
Shh, shh. Okay.
Do I look like I saw that?
I mean, it has 1.2 million views on YouTube. I'm going to say
that's fantastic. We know, we're in the day and age where people pay for views and pay all kinds of, so that doesn't surprise me that it has 1.2 million views and they're going, what'd you say? Shh, 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 shh. Do I look like I would listen to a rap song that's going, shh, shh? Come on, bro.
It's gonna make your day when you hear it. It's gonna be so
make my
fun.
day horrible.
Big shout out to Coach Taylor. J-Mo is in the building. Appreciate you for joining us. Real People says, what's up, everyone? Playoff time. Hope everybody doing well. Big shout out to Real People. Best show.
Salute. What up, player? What up?
Our guy, No Mets, No Nets, No Jets is in the mix. Appreciate you stopping by. And I'm going to get this right. It's Deedon Shelton in the building. 49ers and Bengals fan today. Big shout out to my guy, Waterfly. Waterfly is all over Whatnot now. He's in every room I go in. He is there. Waterfly is a Whatnot G now. Big shout out to Waterfly. Appreciate you. Our guy, Cernock from Cernock's Connection. If you guys missed it, Cernock sponsored a giveaway 2 Thursdays ago. He was the man behind giving away that Lawrence Taylor jersey, that Chris parking lot piece one. So shout out to
a lot
Cernock.
of people were showing love to that jersey on Twitter too, man.
Yeah.
A lot of people were like, "Whew, that thing's clean with the stitch numbers, man." Salute to Cernock one time, man.
Big shout out. SHU Carter is in the building. What's going on, buddy? Good to see you.
Sac passe.
Sebastian is in the mix.
Sac passe again. What's popping?
Back to back sack passes.
Back to back.
Big shout out to Gregory, one of our resident Dallas Cowboys fan, who is the latest person to join the NFC East couch. Appreciate you for joining us here as well as on the couch, Gregory. Thank you for joining us. Who else we got? Cernock says, what if I watch this on my TV? Good question.
So we got to say best television show not on national television. That's what we got to say now.
Big shout out to Bluegrass Picker. His Kansas City Chiefs are playing today, so good luck today, Bluegrass Picker. Hopefully,
I'm rooting for y'all, bro. I'm rooting for y'all.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm rooting for good football, obviously.
I'm rooting for greatness, bro, and Burrow, he's on his way, but I like when somebody gets to that great threshold, I root for them to keep that and keep it above that threshold. A lot of people see LeBron getting a championship, want to see him lose. They don't want to see Tom Brady win more rings. They don't want to see a guy like Aaron Rodgers get his second ring. I want to see greatness excel and meet the expectations, so I'm rooting for Patrick Mahomes on the AFC side today.
That's a great point. Shout out to Frankie Franchise. No, it's not Philly green. Irish green, baby. Irish
Hey,
green.
they said, I just got a Bleacher Report that said Debo Samuel showed up to Philly rocking all green with a mask on or something like that. I was going to try to pull the picture up, but he's rocking green today, man. I think they're going to be about their business. We'll see how them 49ers do.
It's going to be interesting. Who do you think has a bigger game today? Real quick. Debo Samuel or A.J. Brown?
A.J. Brown.
I think A.J. Brown is due for a huge game. Big shout out to Kai001. Says, what's up, Awthentik and The Beard family? Just want to thank you guys now as this season is coming to an end. It's going to be a long off season, not being able to kick it with my favorite NFC East content creators. Oh,
We're going to be in the building, bro.
don't worry, Kai001. We will not leave you like previous years. We're going to be around. It's going to be fun.
Definitely going to be around a little
season,
bit. A little bit more frequent appearances during the offseason for sure this year.
Big shout out to Kai001. We appreciate you. Big shout out to Crypto Moves in the building. Says, what up, Awthentik? I'm in the eye of the storm. Philly. Everyone here is hyped. Meanwhile, I'm rooting for the 49ers. Let's get this over with.
One time in the building. Let's get it, man.
I finally just realizing that. I get that now. One time in the building. I was very lost and felt very old for a little while there. But now I feel like I've been brought to the light. Big shout out to our very own sideline reporter, beat reporter. Marjorie is in the building, dropping those Marge bombs. Marjorie, if you don't mind, keeping an eye on any Elijah Mitchell injury updates that you see. Drop those across the wire for your buddies, Awthentik and Beard. That would be deeply appreciated. Zach, no overtime in the playoffs thus far. Do we see an overtime game today? That will be interesting. I think it's possible. San Francisco, Philly could definitely be an overtime game.
No overtime. We're gonna keep the theme going.
No overtime. Big shout out to Ben Dawson in the mix. We appreciate you stopping by as always, my guy. Hey, we got somebody checking in. I always got to check these. Here we go. Checking in from Twitch, Andrew Yangs. Do people really think the Niners have a serious chance today? Eagles should win minimum by 21 plus points. I don't know about that. That's
I listen. Games can go any way. We know that. But I don't think this is that far off of a take. Like, the Eagles, to me, look like the more powerful team today. They look like they can go out here on offense. The way that the Eagles win games, they put you away before the second quarter is over. If a guy like Brock Purdy gets down by, let's say, like 17 points at the half, the Eagles could run away with this one. Of all the teams in the playoffs right now, if there's a team that could run away with the game, I'm looking at the Philadelphia Eagles in the number one spot.
I mean, yeah, I guess, like you said, the way you started that off, it can go anyway. Any of these games can go anyway. I guess, now that you say it like this, I guess it's definitely possible. Like, if Brock Purdy finally has that, like, young rookie quarterback collapse game, I mean, this game could get out of hand.
Even a game early, like he had last week. Look, the Philadelphia Eagles are not the Dallas Cowboys.
No.
They are a very different team. Defensively, especially up front, they do a lot of things that the Dallas Cowboys can do, but better. We know how they put pressure on the quarterback. Brock Purdy didn't throw no touchdowns last week. You ain't going to get away with that this week. I guarantee that. You're not getting away with that.
Definitely not. Big shout out to Los Collects checking in. We appreciate you for joining us. Big shout out to my guy, Big Al, checking in on Facebook, man. What's going on, brother? Hope all is well with you. Thank you for stopping by and saying what's up. Kai001 says that saddens me to hear. The Cowboys are not the Eagles, and the Eagles are not the Cowboys.
They aren't, man. I'll say the same thing about my team, man. You saw how they did us, man. 28 points by the time we got to the half. It's like, dog, you just put yourself out of the game within a good 15 minutes, man.
Right now, I'm just going to throw this out there. You know, obviously outside of the Eagles because they're still playing, but right now, the Washington Commanders are the only team in the NFC East to end their season on a winning note.
On a win?
On a win.
How did y'all end y'all postseason?
We didn't have to play in the postseason. We won our last game in the regular season.
So y'all are the last team to win y'all regular season finale. But that's not true because the Eagles did that too.
Or you could say we're the last team currently, unless the Eagles win a Super Bowl. The Commanders are the only team in the NFC East going into next year on a winning streak. So, shout out to the Commanders.
You feel good about that, huh?
I mean,
Who'd y'all beat before y'all beat Washington? I mean, before y'all beat the Cowboys? Browns? No, y'all aren't on a winning streak.
Well, we're on a winning game. We're on a 1-game winning streak right now.
One game is not a winning streak. Go look it up. Yeah, I'm just telling you the facts here. When you go 1-0, they don't say, hey, they're on a 1-0 winning streak. A winning streak is 2 or more. Streak, hence the word streak. We talked about vocabulary before we got on air, right?
You see, this is what Authentic does. He tries to just
I'm here to keep it authentic, bro. You said a winning streak. One win is not a winning streak.
We have put the foundation in. We're taking the first step towards a winning streak with a win. Right?
Philadelphia Eagles are now on a 2-game winning streak.
They are.
You're losing on a lot of outs here.
I hate you so much. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, geez, that was.
We got a new view today. What's going on here?
That was a little bit of a. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Beard's getting nervous about that winning streak.
Yeah, I got my hands are fumbling. I've been looking for. I don't have the swordfish computer setup that Authentic has with one
I'm over here
he's got a whole screen set up for just facts. He's got the middle screen and stats.
I have a screen that's literally doing nothing right now. I have so much real estate on this screen over here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go ahead and jump into this first game, which is gonna be the first game of the day. We're gonna talk about this. Get my notepad ready
for 49ers at Eagles game.
Yeah, I mean, Authentic has screens. I have 3-ring spiral notebooks here. So
right.
I'm turning the pages, and we're ready to talk about San Francisco 49ers and Philadelphia Eagles. Ladies and gentlemen, the San Francisco 49ers are 13-4. They are headed to Philadelphia. Brock Purdy is about ready to find out what a road game is about. The Eagles are 14-3. They are 2.5-point favorites. I'm going to take a look at that line because it might have changed. I forgot to update those just in case. And the over-under is 46. Kickoff is at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Authentic, tell the people about the lay of the land.
I like the 3 o'clock kickoff time, kind of right in the midday. Get to watch both these football games and still kind of handle some business at night. 2.5. I like the line.
I'm
3
very happy.
Now. It's 3 now. I'm happy with that too. That's fine. Eagles by 3. That's fine. Even though homie from Twitch was saying the Eagles could win by 21, we definitely know that could possibly happen. 49ers are making their 18th appearance in the NFC Championship NFL record. That's pretty damn awesome for the 49ers. Big shout out to Joe Montana one time. Joe Montana was doing damage. Steve Young, too. You get a couple blessings from here at Authentic and The Beard as well. The Philadelphia Eagles are trying to make their 4th Super Bowl here. Last time they were the number 1 seed. They were in the Super Bowl in 2017. Ended up getting that W. That was a big win for them over the Patriots. The San Francisco 49ers are looking for their 8th trip to the Super Bowl. This is going to be the second postseason meeting between the San Francisco 49ers and the Philadelphia Eagles. I thought this was a little bit of a nugget here, man. Home teams in NFC title games have a record of 34-18. So that leans towards the Philadelphia Eagles getting the dub in this one here. Number 1 seeds are 32-14 in conference championship games. So Eagles looking really good here. Got some good odds. 49ers are the only NFC team never to have played a playoff game in Philadelphia. I thought that was really interesting with the way that the 90s were set up. Even though the Philadelphia Eagles weren't making a ton of appearances, you would have thought that would have already happened in Philly. Brock Purdy looking to be the first rookie quarterback to reach the Super Bowl. He did that, looking to be the first rookie quarterback to win a Super Bowl. He's won 7 straight games now, and the 49ers have won 12 straight games. So 49ers coming in extremely hot. I went back and I looked at some of the matchups earlier on in the year. The 49ers were not a good team in the first 6-7 weeks of the 2022 regular season. They lost games to some really, really suspect teams. They lost to the Denver Broncos. They lost to the Atlanta Falcons.
You called that one. I remember that Falcons
and there's one more.
49ers game.
One more game. And it was a really bad team. I'm trying to think.
Carolina?
No, it was worse than that. There's another team on that list where I was like, man, that's very suspect that they lost the game to a team like that. It was before Carolina. It was in its first 6 weeks, I believe. But last week, 49ers defeated the Cowboys in a real kind of boring game. We talked about that a little bit, 19-12. Eagles beat the brakes off the Giants. Hurts didn't really have to do too much in that game.
Bears. They
The
lost to the
Bears, that's who it was.
Bears.
Yeah, terrible loss to the Bears. And we know the quarterback situation back then was a little bit different. Trey Lance was playing, and he was just trying to get his feet wet. Couldn't really do much at the quarterback position, to keep it real. And Jimmy Garoppolo came in, and as much people want to talk about Jimmy Garoppolo, I think he kind of saved their season. Without those wins in the middle of the season, San Francisco 49ers are not here and not in a position to be able to go on a 12-game winning streak like this. Of those 12 wins, I mean, you're looking at Jimmy G got 5 of them. So I think he was definitely a big factor in that. But last week, Jalen Hurts, 154 yards, 2 touchdowns. Brock Purdy, 19 to 29, 214 yards. He had 9 carries for 34 yards. He did have 1 rushing touchdown. Kind of talked about this in the opener. I just don't think a game like that is going to get it done unless you get like crazy volume from your running game. The Beard was telling me that CMC and Elijah Mitchell both coming into this game a little bit banged up. Mitchell didn't practice this week at all. Purdy on the year, man, pretty decent stats, just in 7 games, 1,374 yards, 13 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, QBR of 65.5. Now, Jalen Hurts, man, if he didn't get hurt, I definitely go with you on he had a bid for that MVP. And Marjorie coming in with the bomb one time. 49ers elevated running back Tevin Coleman and cornerback Jack Rabbit. Shout out Jack Rabbit one time. Janoris Jenkins, I thought he came in the game last week and had a tackle or 2 late in that game. I could be wrong on that. Thought I saw Janoris Jenkins out there on the field. But Jalen Hurts, man, 3,144 yards, 22 passing touchdowns, 13 rushing touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 2 fumbles lost. Hurts, man, I don't know how they're going to stop Jalen Hurts, man. You're talking about a guy who has 1 loss on the entire season. If the Beard was looking for something to hang his hat on earlier in this segment, it should have been that win against the Philadelphia Eagles, because I don't think any of our other teams have any wins against these teams, right? So you're of the 4 teams left, the Washington Commanders, only team to have a win over these. Or Cowboys beat the Eagles without Hurts, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, so you got to give them that too. But I think Jalen Hurts definitely going to be the X factor in this game, man. I mean, just trying to stop him. There has not been a game this year outside of that Washington game, and I could even put this game in that mix as well, where a team has came in and dominated the Eagles and stopped them in all phases of the way that their offense operates. We know that Jalen Hurts can throw the ball with this set of wide receivers, and I think he can throw the ball even without him. But when you got guys like A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith out there, 2 wide receivers who went over 1,000 yards this year, when you try to stop that, and if you are successful stopping that, then Jalen Hurts can go to his legs and he can do the read option type of game, the RPO type of game, the design quarterback runs. And if that doesn't work, then the Philadelphia Eagles still have great running backs to rely on, like Miles Sanders. Kenneth Gainwell came out here against the New York Giants, put up a 100-yard game. You got Boston Scott. There's a lot of different things that this offense can do. With the tight end back in the mix now after missing 5 games, we also haven't seen a game where Jalen Hurts has had to use him as a security blanket as well. So I just think that this one's going to be really tough for the 49ers to stop the Eagles. I picked the 49ers in this one because y'all know I'm playing catch up here against the Beard, but my heart says, let me switch it. My heart says the 49ers are going to win this game because I want my heart to be right, but my mind says the Philadelphia Eagles are going to win this one. What you think?
I think the 49ers have the ability, personnel-wise, coaching-wise, to produce the same sort of actions in a game plan that Washington did. The only problem is, can they do it? A, obviously, and B, how much has Philadelphia learned from that initial loss to Washington throughout the rest of the season? So it seems like it's an easy thing to just be like, it's not that it's easy, but it makes sense to just be like, okay, pop in that film on the Commanders-Eagles game, right? But a lot of things change over the course of time, obviously. So that'll be definitely something that the San Francisco 49ers are going to have to look at.
Y'all forced like 4 turnovers in that game too, right? Was it 3 or 4?
I think it was 3, but one of them was, if it was 4, then it might have been 3, and then the last one on like the last play where they scored the touchdown.
Because that's the part you can't game plan is y'all did dominate time of possession in a real major way. I remember Brian Robinson was averaging like 3.9 yards per carry, which is not that great, but it will get you a first down on 3 runs.
41 carries in that game we had, I believe.
41. But without the turnovers, that game might have still went the Eagles' way.
Yeah.
So when
it was close still the whole time.
Part. Mm-hmm.
It was close that whole game too, just kind of leading up to that end. And I mean, the beginning was a little bit, but for the chunk of that game, it was still a very close
the Quez
game.
Watkins fumble was major for them.
Exactly.
Even when y'all took the lead, I remember y'all took the lead late in the 4th quarter, and then Quez Watkins ended up fumbling on a drive where they were moving very fluid on that drive too.
I mean, both of these teams have a lot of weapons. I mean, we talked about it earlier in the episode about how, who has a better game, Debo Samuel or AJ Brown. But I mean, there's a lot of weapons on this field, and to me, that's what makes it so interesting of a game because a lot of times when we get to this part of the season, we talk about either a insane defense, or a just a highly explosive offense. But both of these teams have top tier offense and defensive units. So it's just, to me, that's what makes this matchup so unique and so like it could be very similar to that Dallas game, or this could be like the 49ers got into a shootout at one point towards the end of the season. What was that against the Raiders? It was 37-34 in
Yeah.
that 49ers Raiders game. Like nobody really expected the Raiders to put up 34 points. I think it's kind of interesting that we talk about how good this San Francisco 49ers defense is, but we never really talk about games like that where the Raiders put up 34 points, the Commanders put up 20 points. Even in the
That
Seahawks,
20 was a little sus because there was a garbage time
Carson
touchdown late.
Wentz at the end.
Yeah.
But I mean, a majority of those games, none of their opponents have really scored that many, have scored into the 20s, except for the Chiefs. The Chiefs were the only other team outside of those teams, the Chargers and the Commanders, to score into the 20s. Everybody else is 19 or less against San Francisco this whole season. So it's going to be interesting to see who can score. We talked about the red zone matchups in this game on Thursday. So I'm kind of curious to see if the 49ers can put up some points. I think the Eagles are not going to have as much trouble offensively as I think some people are anticipating against this 49ers defense. I just think that, what you talked about, how the ability to pivot for the Philadelphia Eagles in any sort of circumstance allows them the ability to score points against a really good defense. They're going to try and pass the ball. They have a quarterback that can run the ball, and they have 3 running backs that are all capable of running with all very kind of different but similar abilities in the running game, obviously. And we're going to talk about, some over and unders that are kind of interesting around this, the running backs in this matchup. But obviously, CMC, not necessarily the best game last week. He did have the touchdown, but Elijah Mitchell to me is going to be key for the San Francisco 49ers. I love the ability to kind of rotate between those two backs. So I really think that his health is going to be important for the San Francisco 49ers in this game. And then Debo Samuel and AJ Brown, the reason why I asked that question is because I think that in these games, when you're like, this is it, you're going to Super Bowl if you win this game, you have to have your best guys step up. And AJ Brown and Debo Samuel are, I think, you could argue, obviously, but I think they're the biggest weapons on each of these teams. So it's just a matter of finding ways to get them the rock in this offense and letting them do what they do best, and that's make big plays.
Both those players you named had quiet games too.
Yep.
In the last round. I mean, Debo Samuel, he was he got a decent amount of touches in that game versus Dallas. I think he had 4 rushes and he had 4 receptions, but didn't really do too much damage. And then AJ Brown, I think, had 4 receptions in that game. I just think it's about, you need a player to step up. I don't think it needs to be a particular player, because we saw CMC fall flat last week, and then you had a guy like Elijah Mitchell step up and handle business. And with Debo Samuel contributing, it gave him enough to get the win. This game scares me because it could be really slow, and that's why I asked you the question about the 2 games in the beginning, because time of possession is very, 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 very important when you're going up against the Philadelphia Eagles. And I was looking up some of these numbers by their game logs. Every game that the Philadelphia Eagles lost this year, they lost the time of possession battle. Now, 2 of those games we know was with Gardner Minshew. The Saints did a really good job of holding them to just 10 points in that game, and Gardner Minshew and that offense really, really couldn't get going. They only had 11 first downs in that entire game, and they lost the time of possession battle. They only had the ball for 22 minutes and 56 seconds. Washington is really the only game that you can look at, but the turnovers, I think, was just the big difference in that game. If you can force those kind of turnovers against Jalen Hurts, get them a little bit rattled, and I think they need to happen early. In the game against Washington, yeah, you had 2 of them come in the second half, but I think it's important to get those early. If you could get Jalen Hurts, behind the 8 ball, let's say in that second quarter, you go into the half and then you come out in the third quarter, and I think you're going to give yourself a much better chance to win this game. But to me, it's really just about, someone has to step up. You as a Washington Redskin football team Commanders fan, you know about Timmy Smith. And he's one of the players that stepped up in one of the biggest spots ever back in the day at the running back position when nobody expected it. The Dallas Cowboys know all about that as well. I forget the cornerback's name, who had the 2 interceptions in the one Super Bowl in the 90s, I believe that was. You know, and no one had relatively heard about him until he made those plays. And I think he even got a little bit of money and then just kind of fell off. Giants have had players like that come out of nowhere. We had Otis Anderson, you know, as an OG, take us to one, you know, on his back, running the ball as well. So to me, it's just about somebody got to step up. If you get even with the Dallas Cowboys last week, you had CeeDee Lamb step up in a major way. It should have been enough to win the game, but the mistakes that they made offensively really, you know, halted them from getting to that victory. I just think someone has to step up. Philadelphia Eagles have just as many weapons as the 49ers, so each team has an equal opportunity to be able to have that player step up. We saw it last week with the Philadelphia Eagles. It was Kenneth Gainwell.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and they dominated the running game. They put up 268 yards on the ground against the New York Giants. So something like that could happen again. 49ers are a much better defense. I love their linebacker core. They can get pressure on the quarterback. Right tackle for the Philadelphia Eagles is going to be a concern, definitely, because we know how the 49ers can attack from that side. It caused a lot of problems for the New York Giants in our matchup. I think this could be either a really close matchup or it could be a Philadelphia Eagles blowout. But for me, I just think I'm leaning towards Philadelphia winning this game. I just think they have the better of the weapons. When I look at the wide receiver core for the San Francisco 49ers, yeah, you got Kittle, but how much better is Kittle than Goddard? You know, he's maybe a tick or a tier better, right? Wide receiver-wise, though, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Brandon Ayuk, and Deebo Samuel, who's going to have to do some running back work probably, especially with these guys banged up. I'm taking the Eagles on that. And when it comes to the running back position, I think CMC, Miles Sanders, Elijah Mitchell, and everything else that the Eagles can do with Jalen Hurts as a runner, that makes that a wash for me. So I'm just leaning towards the Eagles a little bit. I think their weapons are going to be the difference in this game. And defensively, I mean, these teams match up well, too, because both of these fronts can get after the quarterback. I've been saying this for a long time here since the regular season ended. 70 sacks for the Philadelphia Eagles on a year. The next closest team was the Dallas Cowboys, and they were over 15 below that. They got 4 guys on that front that can get after the quarterback that have more than 11 sacks, and then you got Fletcher Cox, who has 7 sacks on the season. So these guys know how to get after the quarterback. They put up 5 sacks on Daniel Jones last week. All the sacks came from their front 4.
You know who's not leaning towards the Eagles?
Most definitely. I don't even think this guy, I think he's banned from that stadium.
Big shout out to Tuto! With a $4.99 super chat. Says massive salute and respects to Awthentik and The Beard.
Ooh,
and
Elijah Mitchell inactive today.
Eesh. Ooh, and all diehard Giants fan in the building. And please slap all stinky Boyd's losers out of front door. Hard and fast. And forget about it. Salute, Italy.
Big shout out my guy, Tudo, man.
Okay. I have to make a quick emergency adjustment really fast in this.
Do your thing. I'll get the first over-unders ready here. We're gonna pick this game after we do. We got 6 over-unders for each one of these games. So we'll do the first 6 here for this game, and then we'll go off into some predictions here. If y'all missed the Thursday show, I picked the San Francisco 49ers to win this game with my heart. The Beard picked the Philadelphia Eagles with his mind. Hoping we could flip-flop a little bit here. Maybe I could pick the Eagles. Maybe he could pick the San Francisco 49ers. I saw some Giants fans talking about this earlier. They were saying if you're betting to pick the Philadelphia Eagles today, you're not a real Giants fan. I'm just like, yo, where do they breed you fans? Like, did something go wrong falling out the womb or something? Like, because I just don't understand. Like, our team is not here. It does not matter, okay? I don't care how many Super Bowls the 49ers win, the Eagles win, the Chiefs win, or the Bengals win. I'm all about putting trophies in that New York Giants case. We're not here, so it really doesn't matter to me. But let's get this first one. Oh, we got a super chat that just came into, and I'm gonna get this ready for the chat as far as the first over-under as well.
Big shout out to my guy, Leroy. Still working on the buzzsaw. Hopefully that'll get out the shop in time to put together part number 2 of the streak of wins for the Washington Commanders. $2 super chat for the GoFundMe for the 40-yard dash. Appreciate you, Leroy. Thank you for joining us, my guy, guy.
Big salute to Leroy one time.
All right. It's time, ladies and gentlemen, to go through some overs and some unders. Maybe that Elijah Mitchell news might change your views on some things. We're going to have to wait and find out. There's going to be a lot of interesting plug and play sort of situations. They did call up Tevin Coleman, but they have some other young guys. I forget there's a law firm guy on the 49ers. He's a rookie. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Do you remember the original law firm running back? What was his name? Ben Jarvis Green. Remember him?
I do remember that running back. Yeah, barely.
I love those running backs that were just really good, and now nobody even remembers them.
You know who's one like that we were talking about yesterday? Do you remember Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the Dolphins?
Yeah, UCLA. He went to UCLA. I have
the only 1,000-yard rusher for Dan Marino.
Man, and that was at the end of Marino.
Yeah, it was 1990. Well, not really the end. Dan Marino played till 1999.
That weirded me out.
That's crazy, right? Yeah, he played till either I think 98 season or 99 season. I was like, wow, that's crazy. But let's get off into this first one real quick here. This one we're gonna start with the 49ers.
We are going to start with over or under 94.5 scrimmage yards for Christian McCaffrey. So receiving and rushing. All right, Awthentik, it's quiz
we're
time.
Doing this again? God, I mean, some of these answers should apply. I should have just made some notes on all the old answers.
Well, the numbers change a little bit, and
one game.
Well, not even just that, but the over-under number changes, so it might affect some of where these games are.
I'm a smart guy. These scrimmage yards were very similar last time we did this for him.
Okay, all right. We'll see how smart you are when we get to this quiz. How many times?
I wasn't smart enough to take notes.
How many times this season has Christian McCaffrey gone over 94.5 scrimmage yards?
Let's go ahead and start with 7.
12.
Sheesh.
Yes. And I dropped my pen. I feel naked. All right, 12 times this year, Christian McCaffrey has gone over 94.5 total yards from scrimmage. How many times has McCaffrey done it in the last 6 games?
Let's go 3.
Spot on, my friend. 3 times in the last 6 games, Christian McCaffrey has gone over 94.5 yards from scrimmage. I was going into this going to take the under. But now that Elijah Mitchell has been ruled out, I think you're going to have to take the over.
You going to have to take the over.
I'm going to have to take the over? All right. I'm going to take the over.
All right, I'm taking the under on this one, most definitely. The chat is, let me see where the chat is at one time. Well, I got to put this in this mode as well. I'll be tripping. YouTube being default top chat, that's somebody needs to go talk to them about that.
As opposed to live?
Stupid. Yeah, you got to switch it every time. 75% say CMC is not going to get there.
So I'm by myself, huh?
Yep.
All right. You know, before we do the Super Bowl one, I'm gonna tally up all of our over and under picks from all the playoff games.
Yeah, do that. I think I'm one up on you. I think I'm just one up on you.
In the NFC East games, but there's some other games that we haven't.
Since we've been doing the over unders from the beginning, because you were either. I think we tied the first round, and then I went one up on you in the divisional.
We'll have to
double check. Make the math, and check it out.
Make the math.
Yeah.
Who's up next along this ride? Where are we stopping at next, Captain?
Let's see here. Let's keep the running back theme going here.
This one is interesting. Miles Sanders, over or under 13.5 rushing attempts. Now, a lot of these over-unders are going to be reflective, obviously, of the opponent. So it'll be interesting to see where the Eagles decide to go and if they decide they're going to try to attack that number 2 overall rush defense in the National Football League. How many times?
Ooh, before you move on.
Okay.
Number 2 rush defense in the NFL. I wanted to talk to you about this real quick. You know who number 1 is?
Tennessee Titans.
That's scary. They were a bad team this year. How the hell? They were allowing teams to only rush for 75 yards a game, bro.
Yeah. They were hurting at the wide receiver position. Derrick Henry missed a couple games at the end. Ryan
Their pass
Tannehill
defense was
hurt.
bottom 5 the whole year too.
Yeah.
It's
So
crazy how you stop in the run like that, and that it's not translating to the pass defense being at least a little bit better. When you look at the
gotta have
Vikings, who
some
we went up
balance.
against, their pass defense was damn near dead last. Their rush defense was pretty close. They were 23rd in the league.
I don't know how they won so many games.
Like, you're on polar opposites of rush defense and pass defense. Somebody, as my man Paulie would say, the streets need a body after that.
Streets need a body after that. All right, how many times this year has Miles Sanders had
tough
14 carries or more in a game?
7.
10 times, which
That's high.
To me, I feel like it's low. Like, I don't know. Like,
it seems more than likely he's not getting carries. That's what it seems like with him.
And he went over. He had 1,269 yards.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. So 10
seems
times.
Like he might have the most yards on the least amount of carries in the league.
Yeah, I'm curious. I wonder where he's at in yards per carry in the league. That'd be an interesting.
I know he's up there. 5 maybe. Let me see.
How many times, once you are done looking that up, in the last 6, do you think he's done this?
2.
Oh, so close. 3 times in the last 6 games. These are obviously including playoff games, ladies and gentlemen. So 3 out of the last 6 games, they've given the ball to Miles Sanders 14 or more times. This is tough. This is very tough because you know how these coaches are in the NFL. They will abandon that run game quick.
Sanders averaging 4.9 yards per carry on the season. When you remove quarterbacks, he would be 10th.
Damn, who's number 1?
Number 1 as far as running backs go is Chicago Bears Khalil Herbert.
Oh, he's such a good running back. I love
Khalil Herbert. J.K. Dobbins, James Cook, Aaron Jones. That's an interesting stat that those guys. Travis Etienne over 5. Tony Pollard was over 5 as well. Isaiah Pacheco 5.1 yards per carry, and then Nick Chubb. An every down type of running back is the first one is Nick Chubb.
I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna go over. I think Miles Sanders. They need Miles Sanders. They need him. I'm gonna take the over.
14 is a lot, and I think with the way that Kenneth Gainwell played last week, it'd be strange to see him not get many touches in this game. And if they have to go back to the running game, I think Jalen Hurts is going to see his fair share as well. You could probably give him about 5, 6, maybe at least. It's an interesting number. It's right on the cusp. I think he's going to have 13.
Yeah, I'm right on the opposite of that. I think he's going to get 14 on the dot.
Yeah, it's going to be right around there for sure.
All right, where are we stopping next? Captain Awthentik. Or what
let me get the poll first. Yep. The chat said, and it was close, 54% say he will get over.
54%. Shout out to you, 54%, for agreeing with the beard. We are on opposite ends on the first 2, Mr. Awthentik.
I like it. I like it. Let's see here. Let's go here.
George Kittle, looking like the beard without a beard there. Over under 46.5 receiving yards. It's an interesting line. Seems very low when you say it out loud, but it's really not that crazy. How many times do you think George Kittle has gone over 46.5 this season, Mr. Awthentik?
Let's go 9.
7 times. Only 7 times this entire season has George Kittle had more than 47 or more yards receiving in a game. In the last 6 games, including the playoffs, though, how many times has George Kittle done it?
6 games. Let's go 4.
3 times.
3
okay. Out of the last 6 games, George Kittle has gone over 46.5 receiving yards. This is an interesting matchup, though, against Philadelphia Eagles. This number always kills me with Kittle because he's either going to be under it or he's going to be 2 times over it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's either going to have like 40 yards or 90 yards. So it really just depends on what that game script is looking like. That's what worries me a little bit. We'll start with you, Awthentik.
I'm going to take the over in this one. I think, no Elijah Mitchell, and the way I see this game going, I think the 49ers are going to trail in this game unless you get an outstanding performance from Brock Purdy. So if you get an outstanding performance from Brock Purdy, he should get over that 46.5. If you don't and they're trailing, I think he should still get over that 46.5. You'll be throwing the ball a little bit late in this game, trying to catch up. So I'm going to take the over.
I think I'm also going to take the over. That last part put me over the over. If they're trailing at the end of this game, they're going to need to be throwing the ball a lot, especially in that fourth quarter. I feel like Kittle, it would be a pivotal player in the fourth quarter sort of attempt to come back sort of situation. So I'm also going to take the over. Shout out to everybody in the chat for participating in our over and under. Where are they at in this poll situation?
Let's see. YouTube, we're operating a little slow here, but last I checked, it said that it was 85%. Yep, it ended there too. 85% say George Kittle will go over.
Ooh, that's a lot. This is a 49ers heavy based chat room today. We will say that. We'll find out how heavy here in a second when we get to these next couple of players here. What's up next on the agenda here, Authentic?
I damn near thought this one was a typo. It's a lot of attempts, man.
It really is. How many times do you think Brock Purdy's gone over this amount of attempts in a game?
He's played 7 games, so I don't look. 2.
Spot on. Only 2 times has Brock Purdy attempted 31.5 pass attempts. How many times do you think he's done it in the last 6 games?
So that just excludes 1 game.
That's a little
I'll
easy.
say once.
1 time in 6 games, he's done it.
See, that's when the math is mathing.
That's when the math is mathing, baby. Now, this to me seems like a slam dunk, no brainer, right? But then, like, if you think about what you were just talking about, like, if they're down, are they gonna have to pass the ball a lot?
I don't know, man. I see Shanahan being a guy who's going to die on that run first for at least 3 quarters. If they're down, it'll be fourth quarter type of vibes. I don't think he's going to get there.
Interesting. Ray says 10 to 12 just to CMC.
Possibly.
31.5 seems like a lot for a guy like Brock Purdy.
And they're the kind of team that even if they are, playing from down from behind, they're going to try jet sweeps and, little quick stuff. And I don't know. 32 attempts, man. That's a lot. I'd say he's not going to do it. But they have won every game that he's played in. So if they're losing, it could completely change the whole script here.
Very true. I'm going to take the under. If he has to do it, I still don't even think he gets to 32. I think he's probably at like 30.
Right. 28 is going to be my number.
Yeah. So I think we're both going to take the under on that. Now, this one, I'm curious where the chat's going to land up on this one. This one seems like it might split the room a little bit.
Yeah. Voting was definitely really close. And let me see what we got here. Come on, internet. What are you doing, YouTube?
32 pass attempts, ladies and gentlemen.
55% say no.
55% say no. Yeah, so I figured that one would be very close because that's a very interesting line right there. 31.5 pass attempts for a guy who's only gone over that line 2 times. So I'm imagining a lot of people are probably going to hammer the under on that one in the sports books. All right, where are we off to next, sir?
This one's kind of crazy too, and this is going to be just the last. Oh no, this ain't the last one yet. Then we got one more. Make sure I'm getting that right. Yeah.
Jalen Hurts. Over or under 247.5 passing yards. This is passing yards only. This number surprised me a little bit. How many times do you think Jalen Hurts has gone over this number in the regular season? Not the regular season, but over the last the entire season, including the playoffs.
So he played 16 games when you include the playoffs? 6.
5 times.
Damn.
I thought it was going to be a little bit more. I thought we were looking at 7 or 8 times. How many times do you think he's done in the last 6 games?
Once.
2 times in the last
2
6
times.
games. He's gone over 247.5
Zach brought up a
yards.
good point here, talking about the weakness of the Philadelphia Eagles defense being their rush defense, where, that could lead the 49ers to try to attack that as far as winning the game. So even down, by maybe a 2-score game here, they're probably still going to try to attack the run.
Very good point. And I think that's going to kind of like put me in this situation where I think Philadelphia is going to pass the ball a little bit more also. So I'm going to take Jalen Hurts to go over 247.5. I think this is Jalen Hurts has a big game today throwing the rock.
Rozelle said, don't be in here lurking without hitting that like. Shout out to Rozelle. I don't think he's going to get to 247. I think if the game plan goes according to script. I mean, look how they just blew out the New York Giants. Jalen Hurts' numbers were like not even that crazy. It was 154 yards through the air in a complete blowout. Complete domination.
Very good point. Very good point.
So I'm
going to assuming the chat's probably going to be a majority under on this one.
Chat needs a countdown.
3, 2. I should have started from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and end pull.
That one, it was really close. I hope somebody put in a last-second vote there and got a buzzer beater to put this one over the edge, because this might be split. Let's see.
I'm going to say 52% take the under.
Straight 50-50.
50-50.
Yeah, that's a first. That's a first on here.
Look at you. Look at you guys in the chat. Guys and gals in the chat. Appreciate you guys for participating. All right, our last over-under bet for this game before we give you guys our final decisions on the winner of the first matchup for today is going to be Mr. A.J. Brown. I feel like we said his name a lot today. 73.5 receiving yards over or under. How many times, including the playoffs, has A.J. Brown gone over 73.5 yards receiving?
Man, did he make it over 73.5 on the Giants? I think he did. I'm going to go with 10.
He did not, and it is 9.
Oh, see, if I would have if I could have got that Giants part right, I might have got that
right. 9 times this season, A.J. Brown has gone over 73.5 receiving yards in a game. How many times in the last 6, including the playoffs?
3.
4.
God damn.
4 times A.J. Brown in the last 6 games has gone over 73.5 yards receiving. I think this is a big A.J. Brown day. I think this is a 120-yard A.J. Brown day. So I am going to go with the over for A.J. Brown in this game.
See, I don't feel good about this one, because if A.J. Brown gets over that 73.5, I think then that will yield well for Jalen Hurts getting over his 247.
Yep.
Pick the under on that one. You said he did not do it against the Giants. Nah, I'm going to take the over.
I think he only had like 22 yards against the Giants. You're going to take the over?
I think I'm going to take the over. Let me check him out.
Yeah, 22. Let me check him out. Yeah, 22 yards, I think, against the Giants. And remember, he was a little upset because he wanted to perform and prove to everybody that he is the big name guy.
Yeah. Yeah, see that, man? Damn, I kind of want to switch that now a little bit. Because they can still move the ball without A.J. Brown having a big game. He can be a decoy in this matchup.
Absolutely.
Switch it. I'm going to take the under. I'm going to take the under.
Awthentik is taking the under. You took the under on everything except for one.
What was that one?
Kittle, 46.5.
Yeah, okay. So all unders, 1 over. All right, I'm with it.
Looking like a real Dallas Philly game here for Awthentik. What about the chat?
I'm going to think you said 22 yards for A.J. Brown. That was under. 154 passing yards for Jalen Hurts. That was under. You remember the score of the game versus the Giants, right?
Well, that was the Giants. Remember, the Giants, not the 49ers.
This is facts.
This is facts.
And the Eagles ain't the Dallas Cowboys.
Damn sure not. I'm going to say the chat's probably over on this one.
Let me see. I just ended it. Damn, that one is really bothering me. That one is bothering me because CeeDee Lamb just put up over 100 on his defense. And they don't really have any other wide receivers to be like a major decoy either.
Devonta Smith.
Am I going to flip-flop this one again?
I mean, you have room to flip-flop and still win, you know?
CeeDee Lamb put up, and yeah, they stop teams by stopping the run.
They do.
Yeah, switch me one more time. That one was tough.
This is Awthentik's got a couple of scratch outs right here. Look at this. Look at those scratch outs for Awthentik.
Yeah, let's go ahead and put the over. 66% of this chat that just came in, they said that the AJ Brown's going to get over.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, great job on the first matchup. It's time to move into our next game. We're going to talk a little bit about the Cincinnati Bengals and the Kansas City Chiefs.
That slow delivery is killing me. I'm like waiting, about to fall off the cliff. Bengals and
all right, so we'll speed things up here for Awthentik. All right.
Chiefs.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the next matchup we're going to be talking about today is going to be your Cincinnati Bengals, who are 12-4. They are headed to the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are 14-3. The Chiefs are 2-point favorites. The over-under in this game is going to be 47.5. Kickoff is at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Listen, man. Listen. Obviously, the Bengals are going. You know my Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Burrow, going to win this game, right? It's like, nah. All right, so last week, the Bengals beat the Bills 27-10. The Chiefs beat the Jaguars 27-20. The Bengals have won 3 straight games against the Kansas City Chiefs, all by 3 points. We know about the overtime victory that they beat the Chiefs in the playoffs, which was 27-24 in overtime. That was the first playoff matchup between Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes. So this is a rivalry that we've been looking forward to because we know this is going to be one of those rivalries that will be here for the years to come. It's either going to be Patrick Mahomes versus Joe Burrow, or it's going to be Joe Burrow versus your boy Trevor Lawrence, who's now in the mix. It's either going to be Trevor Lawrence versus Patrick Mahomes, or it's going to be Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen. And if things can go right in Denver and maybe they can land Sean Payton, maybe Russell Wilson can maybe add his name to this list in maybe 2 or 3 years here. We shall see. But Andy Reid is 1-4 against the Bengals. Patrick Mahomes is 1-3 against the Bengals. Andy Reid is tied with Tom Landry with 20 postseason wins. That's number 2 on the list, not right behind, 11 games behind Bill Belichick. This will be the 5th straight AFC Championship game hosted by the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Bengals are making their 4th AFC Championship appearance, man. The Bengals, man, they came out of nowhere last year. Very like a surprise team. Joe Burrow was coming back off that knee injury. Didn't really have the greatest of seasons that first year before he got hurt. And they really put themselves on the map, man. This team had 2 victories before they drafted Joe Burrow. And now that they have their franchise quarterback, things have completely turned around. And I know a lot of people, especially in my New York Giants community, they talk about how you got to build in the trenches. You got to build in the trenches. Now, the Cincinnati Bengals, they went out there this year. They tried to add some depth to that offensive line. They got 3 guys that have been banged up for the second half of the season. And Joe Burrow's still doing Joe Burrow. I saw Joe Burrow's statistics today without Jamar Chase, because everybody likes to talk about supporting cast, right? It's always the other guys, right? They don't want to give credit when credit is due, especially with guys like Joe Burrow, guys like Jalen Hurts, but I think that might be a little bit of New York Giants bias because our weapons have not been the greatest on the year. But Joe Burrow, I kept this one in my phone, shout out to StatMuse. Let me see if I can get that to focus right there. That's Joe Burrow right there.
Is that Joe Burrow or Andy Dalton?
He's looking a little pale there, right? He's got a passer rating of 99.9 when Jamar Chase is not in the game. He's got 1,063 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions in 4 games, bro. 4 games. So this narrative about Joe Burrow and it's just the weapons, come on, we got to get off that. We really got to get off that. Joe Burrow is, to me, one of the few quarterbacks in the NFL who is beating teams the old school way. Now, I wouldn't quite call him a traditional quarterback because he can do a lot of the other things. We saw that in last week's matchup. This kid was running around the field making plays left and right. But I do think that he beats teams by getting the ball out quick. It reminds me of Tom Brady. It reminds me of Peyton Manning. It reminds me of a lot of the great quarterbacks. Dan Marino, one of the quickest deliveries we ever saw. I think Joe Burrow, when you look at the intangibles and the skill sets that he has, nothing really like jumps off the page, right? It's not like, oh man, look at, it's not like Josh Allen, Malik Willis at the combine. This kid threw it almost 80 yards, right? Or this kid's running a 4.40 like a guy like a Lamar Jackson who didn't run, but we all know he has that kind of speed. Joe Burrow just seems like a regular dude. But he walks out on the field. He's got the moxie. He's got the confidence. And I think his team rallies behind him. Since day one, this kid has shown leadership skills. He's not the kind of guy you had to groom to be a leader. He was a leader when he stepped on the field in the first game with the Cincinnati Bengals. And we're talking last week, 250 yards, man, 2 touchdowns. Jamar Chase did have a big game. So for me, with the Cincinnati Bengals going up against the Chiefs cannot allow them all to have a big game. You know, you talked about, your best players stepping up and shining in big key moments like this in the playoffs. You cannot have T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Mixon, and Joe Burrow all have good games, or you're not going to have a shot in this game. Chiefs are coming into this game with a banged-up quarterback. Travis Kelce is reported to have a back injury or something like that coming into this week. So things are looking a little bit sketchy on that end. And Burrow's sitting at 3-0 right now against the Chiefs. Things are looking really up for them. And it kind of reminds me of, like, how many times can you beat a team this many times in a row? I think that kind of leads towards the Chiefs maybe being able to get a victory. But when we talk about weapons, look at Patrick Mahomes. I saw a video today from a content creator who will remain nameless, right? He said, look at the Kansas City Chiefs and all their weapons. And he said, they got Travis Kelce. And then when he started naming off the next names, I was like, yo, dog, we might have to punt the brakes. He's like, they got Jerick McKinnon. They got Isaiah Pacheco. They got Mecole Hardman. I heard Mecole Hardman. And I'm not saying these guys are useless.
Mecole Hardman hasn't even played in like a month.
Yeah, Mecole Hardman was on IR for like the last couple of weeks of the season. And Mecole Hardman is a guy who had a spark when he started, but now he's not garbage, right? But he hasn't had those seasons like we saw in the first two. He's a number 3. I don't look at these guys as high-powered weapons. So Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, they have to come out here and have good games. Pacheco has been rock solid this year. I do like what he brings to the table as far as he's a running back that he's not an every down back. And with the Kansas City Chiefs, you don't know which running back you're going to get for the day. But to me, I don't look at these guys as high-powered weapons. I look at Patrick Mahomes put up 5,200 plus yards this year and 41 touchdowns. Bro, we can combine people's 2, 3, 4 seasons and they don't got those kind of numbers. Patrick Mahomes is an anomaly to the NFL. He is a different kind of guy. Everything is riding on this game for the Chiefs is Patrick Mahomes. If he comes out and he doesn't have a good game, the Chiefs aren't going to win this game. Joe Burrow's been a dog this year, and you cannot have Jamar Chase come out here and have big games. And, last time they played, he had a big game against the Chiefs. He actually set a single-game record for yards receiving against the Chiefs as well when he had 266 yards against them in 2022. So that I'm just keeping funky with y'all. That shit cannot happen to the Kansas City Chiefs today,
okay? Big shout-out to our resident Kansas City Chiefs fan, Anthony, a.k.a. Bluegrass Picker, for the $5 super chat. Says, shout out graphics department. We appreciate you as always, Bluegrass. Thank you very much. Good luck in this matchup today. The Bengals cannot look at this game like Patrick Mahomes is hurt. And I don't think that that's going to be an issue or a problem, but I think that you have to I think the best way to game plan for the Kansas City Chiefs is to game plan for the Kansas City Chiefs that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
Okay. You have to do that. And you'll throw in some wrinkles, obviously. The big question is going to be is, do you really change the amount of blitzing that you do if you're the Cincinnati Bengals because of Patrick Mahomes? That's the big question. You keep. I think I agree. I think you mix in the blitzes with everything, but don't just start throwing the kitchen sink. Because a guy is got a bum ankle. Because if, like you said, Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. There's the tier 1, and then there's the unigoat tier. Okay, and he's in that tier. So 1 leg, no legs, 2 legs, 3 legs, 4 legs. It doesn't matter how many legs, how many ankles. Patrick Mahomes is still going to be Patrick Mahomes. That being said, there is. You as a fan or as somebody who's watching this game, we can't expect Patrick Mahomes to go out there and be Patrick Mahomes. He's playing on a high ankle sprain where a lot of people would not play for not at least 1 week, some people multiple weeks. Okay, so we have to take that in consideration when we're looking at this game. But I mean, we could talk about Patrick Mahomes and the Cincinnati Bengals till we're New York, blue in the face. But this game's going to come down to the defenses. And I think I mentioned this on 4 or 5 times this week and a little bit last week too, is that the Bengals and the Chiefs defenses are playing better than they have been playing at any other time that these two teams have met over the last 2 years. Okay. So I think that it's going to come down to the defense. The Kansas City defense played fantastic last week. And a guy that Awthentik talked about before that game was Chris Jones. And Chris Jones went out there and handled business. Okay. Yeah. So it just comes down to, I think, which one of these defenses is going to make the first big play. And it's interesting too. Like, do we always look at it as a turnover? More so we look at as a mistake than we do as a great play by the defense, right? I think that's fair to say that most people.
Depends how you get it. You know, it depends how you get it. When you look at how Dak Prescott threw his interceptions last week, especially that second one, that's a mistake on the quarterback.
It is.
When you look at Daniel Jones, you know, on a little outside comeback route to Darius Slayton, it's a mistake. When you're late with the ball, you know, I can understand the ones, you know, that we try to not blame on Dak Prescott this year, you know, when we're talking about turnover-worthy plays and whatnot. It really does depend.
So, and we're talking about Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes. So these guys aren't making the same amount of mistakes as most quarterbacks are in the National Football League. Yep. So I think you're going to have to rely on your defense to make a big play. So for me, believe it or not, in a game that features 2 of, I'd say, the top 5 quarterbacks in the National Football League, Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes, I'm looking at the running backs and the defense. I know that sounds very Beard-esque, but I
do think this game is going to come down to a quarterback making a play to win it. You know,
I think
that's why these matchups exist. You know, when you look at how the Kansas City Chiefs performed last year in the championship game against the Bills, nobody's talking about, hey, the defense let down. Nobody said the Bills' defense let them down. Nobody said the Kansas City Chiefs' defense let them down when they allowed Josh Allen to go down that field and score that touchdown with, 18 seconds left in the game?
That game it doesn't get talked about enough. It
doesn't. That was the championship game, right? Or was it the round before?
That was the divisional round game.
It was the divisional. I thought it was. Maybe if it was a championship, they talk about it more. I do think the defenses will play a major factor in this, and it will be an important thing. But to me, I think all lights are on the quarterbacks.
Yeah,
you can't come out here and have a bad game. And I saw Simeon Toko talking about this in the chat. You know, a high ankle sprain doesn't go away in a week. I'm worried about it. I'm definitely worried about it. Definitely worried about it for Patrick Mahomes and Chiefs fans, because how is he going to get over this hump? You know, this is Brian Leftwich-esque. For those of y'all that don't know, Brian Leftwich broke his leg, I believe, in the game. Had his offensive lineman carrying him up to the line to say hike, and they won the game. He had a game-winning drive on that as well.
University
it's going to be tough, man. It was in Marshall, yeah. I think it's going to be really tough. You know, both these defenses are pretty decent. Bengals are about middle of the pack. Chiefs defense is ranked 11th overall. Joe Mixon hasn't had that great of a year, and I just think it's because the Bengals have been throwing the ball so much. But and they do have the weaponry on the outside with T. Higgins and with Jamar Chase. But Joe Mixon under 1,000 yards this year.
Yeah.
You know, he only had like 800-something yards.
He was banged up for a couple of games, including the first matchup against the Kansas City Chiefs. But yeah, I mean, especially off of the year that he had last year.
Yeah.
You know, when I think he finished the league top 5 in rushing last year, if I'm not mistaken. So
and when these fantasy drafts come around and stuff like they did at the beginning of the year, it's like Joe Mixon has such high stock. You know, it's like everyone's like, go get Joe Mixon. You know, tail end of the first round type thing, and it just seems that the Bengals have become a pass offense. Now, they shredded the Bills last week. You know, with that pass, Burrow's getting rid of that ball really quickly. The Chiefs' defense has been really good against the run this year. You know, they're number 8 against the run this year. Their pass defense is ranked 18th, and that's what I'm worried about. I'm really worried about that. I think that Joe Burrow could have more success, but the Bengals' pass defense is ranked 23rd. So when you say defense, it might be which pass defense can really show up in this game and try to limit the quarterback, but that does start with pressure up front. I just think this game's going to come down to quarterbacks. Quarterback play and which wide receiver is going to help. You know, in the Kansas City Chiefs case, you need a guy like Juju Smith-Schuster to step up and at least do something to take a little bit of attention off of Travis Kelce. And same thing with Jamar Chase. You know, the Chiefs know that Jamar Chase is going to be a big factor in this game. So you need guys like T. Higgins to show up. And T. Higgins last week didn't have a great game. You know, he had a touchdown, but he had 3 receptions for 35 yards. So somebody's going to step up. I think for the Bengals, it can't just be Burrow and Chase. You need that, that third wheel kind of type deal to kind of help them out. And with the Chiefs, is going to have to be a Juju Smith-Schuster or a Kadarius Toney's going to have to get out here and make some plays, whether it be, a jet sweep or a little shovel pass or whatever it's going to be for Kadarius Toney. And Andy Reid, don't get out-coached.
Yeah. It's going to be a great coaching matchup. It's going to be a great matchup as a whole. We will pick our winners right after we finish this, and then we'll also pick the other game. But let's talk before we get to over and unders, because I like this. Throw in a little extra question.
Yeah.
Does Patrick Mahomes finish this game at quarterback?
Coin flip, bro. It's no telling. It's really no does he even start? Was it all smoke? High ankle sprain. I've never seen somebody come back from a high ankle sprain in 1 week. Never.
I mean, this could be Jordan flu game.
Jordan had the flu. He didn't have a high ankle sprain. I'm just saying, bro. Getting out there sick is a totally different thing than getting out there injured. This isn't hurt. He's injured. The closest thing I saw to this was Phillip Rivers when he tore the ACL mid-year and didn't get the surgery on it, and he ended up playing in the playoffs, and you had LaDainian Tomlinson on the bench with the injury. He couldn't come in the game. This is something different. And if Patrick Mahomes can go out here with a high ankle sprain and win this game, I want those kind of X-Men powers.
Yeah, sign me up, coach. I would love it.
That's Wolverine.
I mean, it's crazy.
I saw Saquon Barkley come back from a high ankle sprain in like 5 weeks, I think it was, and like that was miraculous.
And the other thing too is Patrick Mahomes, it's not like you could just tell him don't move, right? His natural instinct is to do things.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the toughest part for him, is going to be how tough it's going to be for him not to go off script. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's going to test it. Just like when he got back in the game last week, you saw him. He tried to shake it off, use mental toughness to get over the physical injury. He planted on that foot and was like, whoa, man, when that hot pain rush up, there's nothing you can do to mentally overcome that. So you're going to have to tell yourself, I'm going to have to play this game with a limp. Every time I step on that foot, I'm going to have to not put the weight on it. And in that case, there's no way you're going to be able to be as mobile as you want to be. I think he's one of the quarterbacks that his mobility is served by what he does mentally. Patrick Mahomes is not mobile because of his legs and how he can run and he's fast or he's agile. He just does things that are quirky and get defenders off balance, and he does things that are just so unorthodox that I saw Brock Purdy do in that game. What was that? Last week. I saw him make a play like that where he did this little jab step when what's my man Brandon Ayuk dropped that catch in the corner. Those little things like that where the defenders aren't used to seeing a quarterback move like this, because a lot of what happens on defense is anticipation. Mm-hmm. If you get a running back running outside zone and you're playing the edge and you got the edge on him, you're going to expect him to cut it back inside. Patrick Mahomes does things that are unorthodox that'll be like, nope, I'm going outside. You thought I was going there, I'm not going there. So he's going to have to use his mind, I think, in this game a lot to be able to try to buy time, because it's going to be important for him to buy time. That offensive line didn't look great last week, man, and that was one of the biggest problems I thought with them, and that was the reason why he ended up getting hit and getting injured in the first place. Yeah,
so we're going to only wait and see. Kickoff will be tonight at 6 or 6:30? 6:30. 6:30 tonight will be the kickoff for this game. Let's go ahead and jump into some over and under player prop bets for this game, and then we will pick our winners for the final 2 games before the Super Bowl. Captain Awthentik has taken us to the land of Kelsey. Travis Kelsey, over or under 6.5 receptions. All right, ladies and gentlemen, how many times has Travis Kelsey gone over 6.5 receptions this season, including the playoffs, Awthentik?
I'm going to go with 11.
A high number, very high number. Only 8 times has Travis Kelsey had more than 6.5 receptions in a game. How many times do you think he's done it in his last 6?
Let's go 4.
3 out of the last 6 he has gone over 6.5 receptions.
Gotcha.
In the matchup against Cincinnati earlier this season, Travis Kelce failed to reach 6.5 receptions in that matchup. So here we are for round 2 this year between Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and the Cincinnati Bengals. Over or under 6.5 receptions. I feel like what did he have last week? 14?
Was it 14? God,
I think he had 14 catches last week. I think it was the tied for most in a playoff game ever. It's like 17 targets, 14 catches.
14 and 98, 2 touchdowns.
So it's kind of hard to say no, right? I mean, 6.5 seems like
I'm not saying no. I'm not. He's gonna get there. 6.5. Quarterback limping. Yeah, I think he's gonna get there.
All right, we're gonna both take the over. We're gonna both take the over on Travis Kelce. I wanted to take the under, but Awthentik just, the way, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Awthentik is very good at convincing you to do something.
I mean, I just told you my answer. I didn't even say.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That's
he's like 14. It's going to be extremely hard to go take that under. I'm like, hey, I'm taking the over.
It's the way you say it, Awthentik.
I'm taking that.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the chat is like 80% on the over 6.5 receptions for Travis Kelce. That would be my 100%.
100%. Yeah. Like nobody said no.
Oh my goodness. All right, where's the ship going next, Captain?
Let's go. Let's keep it in the receiver department here, pass catcher department.
Mr. Ja'Marr Chase. Ja'Marr Chase, numero uno. Shout out to the graphics department, by the way. This whole thing right here, just so you guys know, don't make the same mistake as somebody else who works on this show made. This is not a template, ladies and gentlemen. Okay?
Oh, this is definitely not no template. Yeah.
This is not a template. So shout out to the graphics department. All right, Ja'Marr Chase, over or under 83.5 receiving yards. This number has definitely gone up over the last couple of games in the playoffs. How many times do you think Ja'Marr Chase has gone over 83.5 yards receiving this season, including playoffs?
11.
7 times. Only 7 times has Ja'Marr Chase gone over 83. Well, you keep saying 11, so like the 7 sounds like an only number. How many times do you think he's done it in the last 6 games?
4.
3 times. I'll give you a chance of redemption here. Did Ja'Marr Chase go over 83.5 yards receiving in the matchup against Kansas City earlier this season?
Yeah.
There it is. There you go.
I talked about it.
Check mark.
Mark.
That was a freebie for you. All right. This is tough. I think they're gonna need him to. Yeah, but they don't necessarily need him to. But if I'm gonna stick to the script, of the big players making big plays when big plays count and matter. Okay. I'm gonna go.
Big plays count and matter all the time. But go ahead.
Big play. What was it? John Madden used to say it, man. Big players make big plays in big play situations.
There you go.
That's it. This is it. I butchered that whole thing prior to actually going into John Madden mode. Shout out to John Madden. Rest in peace, GOAT. I'm going to take the over. I'm going to say he gets somewhere between 90 and 105 in this game.
Yeah, I got to take the over. Chiefs pass defense will not be able to contain him the whole entire game. I'll take the over as well.
All right. Captain Awthentik, steer the ship, my friend. Steer the ship.
Got another 100% on that one,
100%.
Yeah. I'll get you on the polls. Don't worry. You can.
Okay, my bad. I forget sometimes.
I got you. Don't worry. Every time. I got you.
All right, my guy. Shout out to Awthentik.
Let's go. Shout out to the Beard one time.
Shout out to the poll department.
Poll department. I'm not over here typing. I just look like this. This one's a little tougher.
Oh, Mr. Mixon, over under 84.5 scrimmage yards. This one is tough. A lot of times I look at these combined stats for the running backs, right? Like the receiving, rushing. And more so than other, when they breach these marks, it's not like a split. It's because they've done it significantly more than the other.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of interesting when I was, you know, doing a little bit of a deep dive on running backs and over unders on total scrimmage yards. So how many times do you think Joe Mixon's done this year,
Mm.
Authentic?
Let's go with 8.
Oh, so close. 7.
Mm.
Lucky number 7. And including the playoffs, how many times do you think he's done in the last 6 games?
2.
3.
God damn, I was gonna say 3. I was like, let me go 1 under.
3 out of the last 6 games, including the playoffs, Joe Mixon has breached this mark. Now remember, Kansas City Chiefs gave up a crap ton of yards to a running back for the Cincinnati Bengals in the first matchup, but that running back was Samaje Perine and not Joe Mixon. So this one is definitely tough. And the reason why I started this off with the kind of how running backs do this more so than others, going over these marks in scrimmage yards, is when they do one thing more than the other. But at 84.5, I feel like you can do a 50 and a 30 is more reasonable than Joe Mixon going for 100 yards rushing. Although I do think he has the capability of doing that in this game, I'm going to take the over. I think they find a way to mix Mixon in the right moments in his game, and he finds a couple of holes and he breaks a couple of 15-yarders, catches a couple of screen passes for 10 yards, and next thing you know, he's sitting at about 85 to 90 yards total from scrimmage in this game.
I'm going to take the under on this one. Even though he did have that big game last week against the Bills, man, 105 yards, 20 attempts. I'm still going to take the under. Consistency has been a thing. When you look at the games that lead up to that, he had 12 yards, 27 yards, 39 yards, 21 and 65 before those. I don't know. I think that this Chiefs defense is going to be able to contain Mixon. I'm going to take the under.
That might be the smart play. I'm wondering when the chat. I think we were going to break the streak of 100 percenters on this one.
Oh, yeah, we definitely did. Joe Mixon over 84.5 scrimmage yards. 55% of the chat says he is going to get there.
Much more split. See, these scrimmage yard ones can get a little difficult. They can definitely get a little bit difficult because there's a lot of variables that go into these sort of over unders on this one. All right, so we got 3 down, 3 to go. Captain El Caption. I almost said Tyreek Hill because I saw that.
Yo, when I was getting the pictures for this, I was like, yo, I could have just took a Tyreek Hill picture. No one would have known. No one would have known.
Okay, that is just, ladies and gentlemen, just so we know that that is not Tyreek Hill at the bottom of your screen. That is Isaac Pacheco.
Allegedly, right?
Allegedly, yeah. I hope I didn't let the cat out the bag. So over under 48.5 rushing yards. Pacheco's been playing pretty good football as of late. I'm gonna imagine that this is gonna be heavy on the over in the chat. How many times do you think he's gone over this number in the all of the games, including the playoffs?
It's very tough to guess with him because they've been using different running backs all year. I'm gonna say 5.
Isaac Pacheco has gone over 48.5 rushing yards 11 times this season.
That's good. That's solid.
11 times this season. How many times do you think he's done it in the last 6 games, including playoffs?
Let's try that 5 out now and see how that works out.
Smart man. 5 out of the last 6 games, Pacheco has reached this number. And he did manage to breach 48.5 rushing yards in the matchup earlier this season against the Cincinnati Bengals. So I think this might be a slam dunk, especially considering Patrick Mahomes' ankle. Yep. I think this should be 100%er. This is a slam dunk for me. I'm 100% taking the over.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one. I'm going to take the over. I don't think it's a slam dunk, though. I really don't, because if this game gets ugly, they're going to have to throw the ball. They're not going to just keep handing it off to Pacheco. But I do think they'll try to establish the run early in this one and, try to get Pacheco going early in this one, try to get a little, a little bit of leadway against the Bengals. And I think you can get to that 48.5. I think you can get there.
You see what I want to talk about? Authentic is the voice of reason. He said, hey, pump those brakes. Don't forget about Joe Burrow, man. This game get a little crazy. And then Patrick Mahomes got to throw the ball. Next thing you know, Pacheco getting 4 carries in the second half.
Yeah.
So we all know about those 4 carries and a half situations. Curious to see, though. The chat's probably going to be heavy on the over on this one, I'm assuming.
Yes, they are. And let me just get this one ready. And this one, 75% say that Pachenko will get over the 48.5.
All right, so we are down to the final two, the two that matter the most. QB1.
They don't play on defense.
QB1. Which quarterback will we be talking about first?
Let's go with high ankle sprainer.
The Unigoat.
That's how you're gonna look when they hit that ankle. Ah! Swear to God.
This is an interesting one. I had to throw in a different sort of over-under with Mahomes. So how many times do you think Patrick Mahomes gone over 25.5 completions in a game?
This is tough. 6. I'm probably way under.
Lucky number 8.
Should have went that 8. Not too far off. That's a hard one to guess, man.
It is a very difficult one. How many times do you think he's done it in the last 6 games?
8 on the year. I'll go 2 in the last 6.
Oh, you should have stuck with 3, my friend.
Should have stuck with 3? You were shaking your head when I said 3, so I was ready to
switch. 3 out of the last 6 games, Mahomes has gone over 25.5 completions. He failed to do so by a large, significant amount of numbered completions in that first matchup against the Cincinnati Bengals. I think he only had 16 completions in that game against Cincinnati.
Only 25 is a shit ton of completions, man.
That's
a lot. Like, what does the game look like when you go 25 completions? 25 or 35?
I mean, if you're Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes or Justin Herbert, I'd say 25 to 29.
25 of 20. That is efficiency right there. Whew.
I mean, top tier, baby.
8 times this year, you said he did it?
Yep, 8 times.
That's a feat right there, man. 26 completions, really. So it'd be 26 of 29, 30?
26 to 30.
Whew.
Yeah.
That's a pretty game right there.
I'm going to go under.
25
15 and a half
completions? Yeah, I just don't see that. Yeah, I'm going under. Damn. Chat made me want to change my mind. Chat 86% of the chat says he's going to get over that. 25 and a half completions. Damn.
He might not even get 26 attempts.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, how many attempts did he have last week?
I don't know. I'd probably 30. I'm going to say he had 30 plus attempts last week. 31 maybe.
195 yards versus the Jags. Let's check out these game logs real quick. 30. He had 30 attempts, 22 of 30.
On one ankle.
In a game where they were pressing too, man. You know, he didn't play some snaps. Damn, he got 20 though. Oof. That's kind of making me want to change that up a little bit. The chat talking 85%. He had 20 in that kind of a game. Nah, man. Nah. I'm sticking with the script. Taking the under. Taking the under on this one.
All right. From the Unigoats to Joe Cool himself, Mr. Burrow. Joe Burrow.
Okay.
Doing a little Gucci Man / DMX combination there.
That's crazy.
Over under Joe Cool. 277.5 passing yards for Mr. Joe Burrow. Ray W says this ain't Jacksonville.
I'm with you, Ray. This is not Jacksonville. I'm with you. This is not Jacksonville.
How many times do you think Joe Burrow's gone over this mark this season, including the playoffs?
277. I'm gonna go 7.
Good man, Awthentik. 7 times on a button, including 1 time against Kansas City earlier this year. How many times has Joe Burrow done this in the last 6 games?
2.
Only 1 time in the last 6 games has Joe Burrow gone over 277.5 passing yards. This is tough.
No, it's not.
It's not? Okay, give me your answer then.
Under. 277 is a rack of yards, bro.
It is a lot of yards.
Don't let me convince you though. You want the chat is leaning opposite of authentic right now. I'll give you that.
I got Mixon over 84.5. I got Chase over 83.5. So let's say Chase goes for $1. So that leaves out 178 yards. We'll say Mixon takes out 30. That leaves 148 yards split between, 4 different guys. So that's probably like 35 yards a guy. I'm going to take the over.
Okay. If all goes well, according to your home field advantage that you're taking here for the Cincinnati Bengals, then they'll get the over.
They're playing in Kansas City, my guy.
I'm just talking about your home team.
Oh, my home team. They're on a one-game winning beginning streak at home.
Yeah, right. You talking about the Bengals?
No. My Washington
Cincinnati
Commanders.
Bengals. What is y'all saying again? Who they?
Who they?
Who they? Don't say who
they.
Who are they?
Who that? That was Trick Daddy, right? Who that?
Oh yeah, that was. Was that Trick Daddy?
I thought it was Trick Daddy.
I'm gonna take the under on this one. I'm gonna say his name was like J.O. Felony.
Oh no, it wasn't Trick Daddy, because was it cool? It was Trick Daddy, or was it Cool Breeze?
Wasn't Cool Breeze.
It was true.
I don't know who Cool Breeze is.
Cool Breeze was one of the songs that we rapped to for JT Money. Not JT Money. Cool Breeze. It was JT Money. JT Money.
Who did I say it was?
You said J something. I thought JT Money did. Who that?
Yeah, it was JT Money. Who did I? I said J.O. Felony. Yeah. I knew it wasn't Trick Daddy though. I knew that.
I don't know where I got Trick Daddy from.
Man, you don't know that.
Shout out to JT Money, man.
Yeah.
What was cool as Cool Breeze? Wasn't Cool Breeze a rapper from that time?
Yeah, it was. You talking about Watch for the Hook? Yeah. One hit wonder. Good. Featured on a one hit. It was Goody Mob folks, I believe.
Yeah. Shout out Goody Mob. Shout out JT Money though.
Yeah, that's a good pool right there. Wild Nation, JT Money. I like that.
We gotta figure out where JT Money's at now.
Chilling.
Who that? Who? Can you finish that the line though?
No, but that I tell you, it's the trivia answer to who is JT Money is the name of his song. Who that?
Oh, Wild Nation that's Laylo. That's right. Laylo.
Oh, Wild Nation is Laylo.
Yeah.
Oh, I know that. Okay. I thought that was a Washington logo right there. I was about to be like, yo. Wrestling page. Got you. That's right. Shout out Laylo in the building.
I gotta figure out the rest of that song. Who that? Who?
Wasn't it like just like chant,
run up in your crew
or something like that? It was like a chant.
Was that the same song? Yeah. I think I'm extending things a little bit.
Google it, man. Open up a tab and Google it, man.
Listen, man, not all of us have the authentic, I'm running on a very
dog. Do you want to see what it looks like over here? I'm looking at like a 24-inch Apple monitor right now. I don't wear glasses, man. But you
got about 17 other screens over there.
I do, but they're like over there and over there.
Yeah, but you got screens inside of screens.
This is facts. All right, let's go back to this. You want to renege on this one right here? Which quarterback will have the best performance this weekend?
I said Jalen Hurts, right?
Oh, did you? Jalen Hurts. Okay, this is good.
Isn't that who I said? Didn't I say Jalen Hurts?
I don't remember. So this will be good.
I'm pretty sure I said Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts has. It's either between Jalen, because remember I went through the whole list and I said, look, if Patrick Mahomes goes out there and goes crazy on one foot, he's gonna have the best performance, right? Because he's playing on one foot. If Brock Purdy goes out there and they win the game and he throws 2 touchdowns, 200 plus yards,
politics.
It's because he's a rookie. He's gonna be the first ever rookie to make it to Super Bowl, so he'll have the best game.
That was some Brock Purdy burnt flowers. Okay, go ahead.
Jalen Hurts, if Jalen Hurts goes out there and does it, it's Jalen Hurts is finally, he'll finally gain the respect that he deserves from all the haters out there. But if Joe Burrow does it,
probably not.
Yeah, maybe not all of them, but some of them will have to be forced to come around. I'm sure most people will find a way to have an excuse. But if Joe Burrow does it, it's Joe Burrow's.
Go ahead. Go to your Joe Burrow.
If Joe Burrow does it, it's just Joe cool, So he's at the least advantage of all these guys, So I think
same advantage.
I'm still gonna stick with my answer. I'm gonna say I'll give you Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Brock Purdy. That's my order of 4.
Okay, got you. So what I was gonna say is this, man. I don't like the narrative that because I don't like something, I'm a hater towards that. That's why I want to talk about that Common line. Common said, if I don't like it, I don't like it. Don't mean that I'm hating. That's a bar from Common from back in the day. Why does somebody got to be labeled a hater if they don't like something?
That's a valid point. I wish I could explain that philosophy to a lot of people in the world. I think that would be helpful to them. So when are people allowed to be called haters? Because I've been a hater, I feel like, before.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's like
definitely. I've been a hater before as well.
Hating probably happens when you ignore facts. Does that fall in line? As opposed to just saying that you don't like it?
I think hating has to do with when someone is excelling and you don't acknowledge them excelling and you try to ignore facts and you just don't want to see that person be great or be good, even though they're already good. Right? But when it comes to opinion, we like on Twitter, there's this whole narrative of haters. Everybody's always in every fan base, they're talking about the haters of this guy, the Brock Purdy haters, the Taylor Heineke haters, the Daniel Jones haters, it's like, if they don't like the player, if they're unwilling to admit that, that's on them. But if you just don't like the player, you don't like him. It's fine.
Yeah. So I can just get
I would say Taylor Heineke with you. Like, you just don't like him. He also isn't great.
Well,
and maybe half of why you don't like him is because he's not great. I'm not talking about the guy. I don't even know Taylor Heineke. I ain't hung out with him. I ain't never rolled up no J's with Taylor Heineke. I don't know who Taylor Heineke is, the guy. You think what we see on the football field is the guy? Like, imagine if we judge Russell Westbrook, the guy on the basketball court, as the guy off the basketball court. We might think he's a goon, which he very well might be. I don't know, to be honest. But I can't talk about the character unless I know who the person is. I don't care if you're a nice guy when it comes to football, dog. Go make plays. If I don't like you as a player, I just don't like you as a player.
Yeah. So I'm a good then. I'm not a Taylor Heineke hater. I'm not a Taylor Heineke liker.
Yeah, I'll give you that. You don't like Taylor. I think your problem is you're unwilling to admit that you just don't like him.
No, I think I made that pretty clear at times. I said,
I think you just don't like him. And but he hasn't done anything great.
Exactly. I think
I also think you can't call somebody a hater when we're not talking about greatness. If we're talking about average and just above it or just below it, how is somebody hating if they say I don't think he's good, I don't like him?
I saw a thread and I retweeted this thread just so people had an opportunity to read the thread. It was the most overrated athlete of all time thread on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the stuff in there was basically like the best players of different sports. And it made me realize that it's just that's hating. Like, you can't sit there and tell me that Bo Jackson is one of the most overrated athlete of all time.
Oh, there is nothing factual about overrated. Like, there's nothing factual about it. You're going to sit there and argue until you're blue in the face with people like that, because what facts do you present about overrated? Am I going to bring up 100 articles to the table? Like, look at all these writers that wrote about Bo Jackson, said he was great. Like, what are we going? How do you even dispute that? You can't. That's why I would avoid something like that, right? I would just avoid a conversation like that, to be honest, because I could see both sides of the argument. If you want to say that Bo Jackson wasn't great, they're probably going to say, well, he only played this many years and da-da-da. They will say the same things about Gale Sayers. But who's to say they were overrated?
Especially as an athlete. It's not like,
Yeah, they're probably looking at endorsements. They're probably looking. I mean, Bo Jackson, he had a damn cartoon. I don't know if you remember the cartoon with him, Wayne Gretzky, Michael Jordan.
Yeah, yeah.
Pro Stars, I believe it was called.
Yeah.
It was one of my favorite shows. Got canceled very early. He had mad endorsements. You know, if you wanted to say that about a guy like Baker Mayfield, you could say the same thing. Like, he's overrated because I see him too much. But at the end of the day, I don't think that's really something you can't dispute. But if you constantly say Taylor Heineke has been average for the Washington football team, he hasn't been that good. You know, I want to see him on the bench. No, nobody could sit here and call you a hater about that because he hasn't done nothing great.
Yeah, well, I'm going to ask you to let those people know that I'm not a hater, because there's a lot of people out here that think the Beard is just a Taylor Heineke hater. And
Yeah, I think
it's
just, you know, you gotta just
Ron
be willing.
Rivera apologist. Also.
Apologist is a whole new thing. That's a whole new thing that people are calling people nowadays, which is crazy. Which I think is a if you call somebody an apologist, I'm okay with it. But the hater part, I'm kind of like, you just don't like the guy. But you have to be willing to say, I just don't like him. If you can't say that, then I think that people can call you a hater, right? If you can't say, like, I just don't like that quarterback, or I just don't like that running back, I just don't like that player, I don't think he's a good fit for my team, so there's nothing that's going to convince me. When you say that, you're letting it be known that you're not hating on him, you just don't like him.
Yeah. Okay. Good to know. This has been a very important conversation. Welcome to our TED Talk. Okay.
It's the unwillingness. It's people's unwillingness to back down off their mountains that will have people attack them and call them a hater.
Oh yeah. I mean, listen, the hill is getting full. Okay. There's no more room for people on these hills, because they're all dying on them. They're all dying on these hills.
But you know what the problem is people in sports don't like when you switch your take. So it becomes a catch-22. Because people don't, I get a lot of shit for that on my Twitter too, because I'm like, one day I'll say, hey, this guy played great. The next day I'll be like, look, he looks like dog shit. And people don't like that. Like, why don't you just stand on it? You know, why don't you just stand that you think he's a great quarterback or you think he's not a great quarterback? But I'm like, when the evidence presents itself, I'd be it would not be in the best interest to not change when the facts have been presented that somebody is like falling off. Let's say like Eli Manning in his later years when he was falling off and his play was diminishing. You know, you got to not admit that, even as much as I love Eli Manning and all the greatness that he did for the New York Giants, to sit there and be like, oh, no, it's the same guy, man. He's playing great football.
Yeah.
Just so I can't flip-flop my opinion would be a bit ridiculous.
Well, big shout out to Zach. We'll get to this super chat, and then we will make our picks for these games to get you guys out of here in time to watch. Zach with the $4.99 super chat says, today's society loves labels, especially the younger generation, because of social media encourages groupthink. Anyway, let's go Niners and let's go Cincy. Appreciate you.
You're right about that groupthink stuff, man. It's very mob-like mentality, because people will see a bunch of people agreeing with something and that will force them to agree with it, even though at times it can be completely wrong. And I think we all suffer from that.
Don't hate Notre Dame, Ray. Don't hate them.
See, this is good stuff here, though. Like, when you can just admit, like, I'm a hater. Do I got somebody that's like that? I know.
I've said that on multiple times. I've said that multiple times on this show.
What's that?
And I'm a hater.
Oh, you were just saying you weren't a hater, so you're contradicting yourself.
Well, sometimes I am a hater, and sometimes I'm not. There's days to hate, and there's days to not. You know.
That is crazy.
I am a bit crazy, you know. All right, which game you want to pick first, sir?
Quarterbacks first. I'm going to go with I'm switching it today. I'm going Brock Purdy with the best performance of the weekend.
All right,
I'm going to go Brock, Patrick Mahomes, Burrow. Patrick Mahomes, Hurts, Burrow. I'm going to go Burrow has the worst performance of the weekend. Picks wise, let's get the first game up, and I'll get a poll for the chat too, just see where we're looking at as far as the chat goes. And we can end this poll.
Game up. Did they did a poll for the quarterbacks?
No, it was for the last one. Joe Burrow's. They said Joe Burrow will go over 277.5.
All right. First game, San Francisco 49ers, 13-4. They're headed to Philadelphia, 14-3. The Eagles are 3-point favorites at the beginning of this show. I'm sure that number has probably changed 3 times. The over-under is 45. Kickoff is at 3:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am going to stick to my script. I'm actually going to stick to – I'm thinking about changing my score up a little bit, though. I had 2016 Philadelphia. You know what? I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna go 2016 Philadelphia. I'm gonna take the under. I'm gonna take Philly to win. I'm gonna take Philly to cover. I'm going all Eagles.
Damn, I was hoping you were gonna go 49ers in this one. Yeah, see, and I love this. I love when people can just admit it. I'm a Cowboys hater. Just admit it. I saw somebody else say, bookend tackles like we hate Philly. Just say it. It's an opinion. The Eagles are gonna win this game. The Eagles are gonna win. I know it. I 100% know that the Eagles are gonna win this game. I'm gonna pick the 49ers. I got some catching up to do, and I'm gonna pray for a football god miracle that the 49ers can win this game. Today, I'm gonna say the score is gonna look something like you can't get into a high scoring game with the Eagles here and plan on winning. So I'm gonna go 27-21 49ers.
You gave the 49ers 3 more points since Thursday.
Did I have 27 for the Eagles?
Yeah, 24-21 for the 49ers.
And I gave them 27-21.
Yeah.
See, that goes to show you how consistent I am right there. I don't got no notes about none of that. Like, I just literally wing that.
Oh, wait till we get I want to see what you go for this next game, because that was an interesting score you gave for the last round.
You're doing too much right now, and you're giving me too many hints. Too many hints right now.
I do that a lot, don't I?
Yeah. Not in your best interest on this one.
Where'd the chat go for the Niners-Eagles game?
It's still populating right now. I'll wait till I start that next one so I can see that. Pat, where are you leaning with this one?
I'm sticking with my away team, Cincinnati Bengals here. I'm gonna stick to the script, man. I think I picked perfect scores on Thursday. I'm gonna go Cincinnati Bengals 27, Kansas City Chiefs 24. So
all right, with the Niners and Eagles, we got 60% says the Niners are gonna win.
Figured that. Little bit of Eagles haters in the building, as they are self-proclaimed. Yep. So Cincinnati is favored. The Chiefs are favored by 2. The over/under is 47.5. So I am taking the Bengals to win, and I'm going to take the over 47.5. I'm going to go 27-24 Bengals.
Over 47.5. I'm going to go with a 2-score win for the Chiefs. The high ankle sprain has definitely got me questioning things. I'm going to go 31-17 Kansas City Chiefs.
You want to know what your score was from Thursday?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Kansas City Chiefs 30 and Bengals 21.
Cool. So pretty consistent.
Pretty consistent indeed. Here we are. We are 10 minutes away from kickoff, ladies and gentlemen. 10 minutes away from kickoffs. Yeah, 3 on the button.
Good timing, man. Big shout out to the gang for pulling up, man. We know, none of our teams are really in the mix outside of a few Philadelphia Eagles fans we have and fam we have in the chat and whatnot. So for the Eagles fans that are out there, man, best of luck to y'all. 49ers fans, all of y'all with y'all team still left in the mix. Best of luck to y'all, because I think that a lot of football has to do with this is for the fans, And for the ones that we know that we have built relationships with personally, it'd be a great thing to have you guys see your team get there. And, for the Giants fans that are rooting for Philadelphia Eagles loss, I wish the best for y'all too. For me, it don't really matter who wins this game, but I do think the Eagles are going to win this one. We'll see how it goes, and I'm picking the Chiefs on the opposite side. But again, man, big shout out to all of y'all for pulling up, man, rocking with us in a, this is like a meaningless football game. This is like the Awthentik and The Beard meaningless football game. It's like, our teams are not in the mix, but here we are chopping it up, talking about football, man. And, we will be nowhere else in the world besides chopping it up with y'all, man. So again, best of luck to all your teams. Big shout out to the gang for pulling up in the building today, man, rocking out with us.
Appreciate each and every one of you guys. Shout out to Kai, I see you, who says the Cowboys are such a great team and organization to root for. That sounds like you found that off of the Cowboys website.
Shout out Kai, man. Big shout out Kai, yo.
And it looks like a lot of people are OG Knockout says Bengals 34-27. Rozelle says 31-27. I almost butchered it. Ray W says 33-21 Cincinnati. Gregory says 24-21 Chiefs. So you guys are pretty split here in the chat. So big shout out to the chat. We appreciate
Yeah,
you guys.
I'm still waiting for the poll to end real quick before we get up out of here one time. I think it was leaning towards the Kansas City Chiefs in that poll. Pretty crucial too. So we got, actually flip-flop. We got 80% for the Bengals today, 20% for the Chiefs, man. So we'll see how that one goes. Y'all make sure y'all enjoy y'all football, man. We'll be back, I guess, for a recap. Yeah, we got to talk about those Eagles on Tuesday. Probably going to do another Giant Overreaction. I told y'all I wasn't going to leave y'all hanging, so we'll probably have a Giant Overreaction on Monday. We'll figure out something to talk about here. But make sure y'all pull up Monday. We'll be doing that one at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and then 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday for the recaps. We'll probably recap both of these games and talk a little bit about the Eagles moving forward. We'll see how they go, see how they fare in this matchup. Y'all enjoy y'all football, man. Y'all know what it is over here at Awthentik and The Beard, man. Keep raising that bar. Keep living those dreams because the universe flows in Technicolor and surround sound. Big shout out to the podcast, Go Combat Jack. May he rest in peace. Y'all enjoy, man. It's going to be a good day of football, man. I'm excited. I hope we get a couple barn burners here, man. Y'all be good. Big shout out to the AATB fan, man. We appreciate y'all rocking out with us this whole entire season, man. Y'all be good. Peace.
Peace.